Hi everyone, my name is Brittni Brown, aka B Brown, and I am the head publicist of the B Agency Public Relations, and I am operating out of Detroit, Michigan. And under my agency, just to kind of dive in and tell you a little bit more about myself and who I am, on a day-by-day basis, I handle client representation and personal branding for different individuals who are looking to expand their businesses and kind of get the word out to their actual public and to their target in terms of what they actually do and what product that they're serving to others. So today, what we're going to do is just kind of dive more so into helping you pitch yourself, helping you have a full understanding of who you are and how you can relate to your target and get your message out there. As well as I'm going to dive a little bit more into the Adopt a Business Challenge, which is the challenge that I began this month, where it's a adoption system to where individuals just adopt different businesses. So it's a community outreach that I founded this month, and to date we've had about over 100, probably at about 300 adoptions that have taken place. And so we're going to go into that a little bit more. But right now, I just want to kind of start and give you a little bit of background in terms of who I am and what I do and how we can help you pitch yourselves and just speak to your public and speak to your target and help you become your brand. So to give you a little bit more background of me, I founded my agency in 2011, where I started managing and handling pitching and press releases and things of that nature under my agency to getting the word out there for different clientele. So on a day-by-day basis, I help individuals tell the world or tell their targets how amazing they are. And that goes along with having press releases written, as well as developing pitch documentation to send out to different media, which includes TV, radio, and publications or blogs that you probably read on a day-by-day basis. So an example of what I do, someone may come to me and say, hey, I have this amazing lipstick line and I want to get it in the hands of Essence or Ebony, and I want to share that with my public, and I just want them to know about my story and why I came out with this product. So with that, what I do is I develop something which is known as a PR campaign, where we develop something which is known as a pitch. So what we're going to do is tie into that and kind of figure out what a pitch is and how it can help you as a professional, or how it can help you as a growing professional in terms of your brand or your product that you want to get out. So I based my actual agency around a foundation which is known as becoming your brand. So a lot of individuals may assume and may think that the only people who have brands are people who have major corporations or major companies, but it's not that in a sense. So you are, even if you're a student, even if you are working a corporate 9-to-5 job, you have your own brand. As you as a human, you are your actual brand. So whatever you can bring to a corporation or a company or organization or a team, that's a part of your brand. It's basically, what can you bring to the table and how amazing are you? So with that, what I like to do, and it was a case study that I did with a lot of inquiring clients in terms of having a full understanding of what voids are they filling in their community, or what professional sound, body, and mind advice are they bringing to the table. So that's me kind of figuring out how we can help you become your brand and put it on paper. So one example of you being able to put that on paper is through your resume. So we all know what that is. It's a piece of paper, or it's something that's in a virtual format that you can actually send out to a company, corporation, internship opportunity, and say, this is who I am, this is my accolades, these are the things that, speak about me, and this is why I'm great. So with that, that's a form of you, and it's a tool that people use to promote and execute their personal brand, but it's on a professional brand level, if that makes sense in a way. So the transition to that, if you're not actually looking for a job, but you want to tell your story to a publication like an Essence or a Huffington Post, or you want to get on your local news, what you will send to an actual outlet, which is what those media personnel are called, is something outside of a press release, which we'll kind of get into that, but it's also known as a pitch. So defining what a pitch is a you've heard of an elevator pitch. So that's something that you can do. It's like in 15 to 30 seconds to where you're kind of giving 3 key points: the who, the what, the where, the issue, and what you can do in whatever field that may be. So what that means is a pitch is something that is created or crafted from a copywriter, someone who develops content, or an actual publicist, to where it's a 1 page, or maybe sometimes it could be 1.5 or 2 pages, that gives a full out synopsis of who you are, what void you're filling in a community, or what issue are you solving, or what product, in terms of if you have a product, what is that product solving, or what is that product bringing to a household? What is that product going to solve? What is it going to do to make the lives better of someone that's purchasing that product? As well as who you are, what are your accolades? Are you certified in being able to create something? Do you have a degree in a certain area, a certain field? Those are all things that will go into that pitch. And then just giving a sound body and line execution of, this is what I can bring to the table, this is what I can bring to your team, as well as on the flip side, outside of taking it in terms of your presenting a product, in the sense of a personal pitch is basically kind of giving 3 key points. And we're going to go into a little bit of an exercise to kind of give you that feedback on what ways you can actually build your own pitch at home. And this is something you can type up in Google Docs. You can type it up in Microsoft Word. You can type it up on your phone. You can do whatever. And you can also take a pitch and you can actually use it to win grant money, to win different opportunities are out there in different cities, to where they just want to hear your pitch and want to hear the story behind your product and your brand, and what you can do with those funds or that money that they give to you. So the way that I'm going to have you break down your pitch, and this is something that once it's crafted, it comes out in, like I said, a 1-sheeter or a 1.5-sheeter, to where you email it out. Simple as that. You email it out. You say, hey, I want you to fully understand who I am and my story and why I want to be featured. So what a lot of people do when they're using an actual pitch is you want to get a feature request. You want to pitch yourself to a different outlet to saying, hey, I'm going to release this product January 2018. And this is the story behind it. So for example, I've had a client who has a lipstick line, and her line is fully vegan. The products that she uses from an actual tribe in Africa. And with that connection, it's basically, I am making a product that's not only healthy for women who use the product, but it's also challenging a beauty standard that we have in place right now, and also giving to a community and providing jobs for women who are in Africa who may not be able to have those same opportunities if I'm not providing it for them. So that's basically her niche. It's not just saying, hey, I have this bomb lipstick that I'm going to release, but what is the story behind it? Publications, media outlets, they want to know the person or the story behind a product. They want to know what is the authentic story to help readers or help other individuals who may want to go into entrepreneurship or business ownership. How can they relate to that story of you coming up with that product? So those are all things that are very, very important when pitching yourself, and basically the outline of what different publications are looking for. They're looking for not quite the drama behind it, but they just want to have a story so they can actually submit and say, you know what? This story will resonate with our readers, and this is why. So before you can actually email your pitch after crafting it, you need to understand who you're sending your pitch to. So that's going to tie into a number 3 point that we're going to go over when you're actually crafting your pitch, in terms of you can't send something about a lipstick line to a Complex magazine or ESPN. They don't care about that. They don't have a market, or their readers or their viewers are not interested in that. They're interested in entertainment or music or sports. So if you're releasing something that's a target to sports, or if you're releasing something that's in reference to a new app that's for entertainers or X, Y, and Z, it's going to make sense. If it doesn't make sense, if it doesn't correlate to the actual brand and the company and what their mission is, don't pitch it, because you are wasting your time. You're wasting the writer's time. You're wasting the brand's time. Don't waste anybody's time, because time is money. Remember that, always in point. Before you're sending your pitch out, make sure you're doing your research. So one thing that I pride myself on is I just don't send it to any and everybody. I send certain pitches for certain clients to individuals who may have a interest in that. So if I know I'm sending it to a writer at a Huffington Post, they will have a bio. If you look at the about section when you're trying to figure out their contact information, and we'll get to that in the end, in terms of, they'll say, I'm a lover of natural hair, I'm a lover of sports, I'm a lover of X, Y, and Z. You see that. That's your key in to say, well, hey, if you're a lover of beauty, then I have this product that, one, I want you to try, and two, I have this product that I really want you to test out, and this is going to be the hottest thing in the market, and this is a story that may resonate with you because I love your work, I see in your work. You can relate to them in that sense, but some journalists want you to get straight to the point and say what it is, what you want them to do, X, Y, and Z. So you have to kind of fill it out, because they're human. Don't reach out to them as if they're not human, because that's going to make it really, really awkward, and you blew the opportunity to even do a pitch. So with that, in terms of having an understanding of who you want to speak to, the flip side to that is, when crafting your pitch, it's going to be very important that you have an understanding of who you're writing your pitch for. So what I want to go into right now is the action of crafting your own pitch and how that will go. Now, we know what a pitch is. It's something that's basically, you can easily say in 15 seconds, or you can display it in one sentence. So the action of a pitch is if you meet someone in whatever capacity it may be on an elevator, because it's, known as an elevator pitch, they'll ask you, hey, what do you do? You have 15 seconds, or even less than that, 10 seconds, to say who you are and what you do. So you have to be spot on to having that understanding. So these three things that we're going to go over, that I want you to jot down while it's going to help you craft your pitch, and it's going to help you in those situations. So where if you do meet someone, if you meet a potential investor, if you're at a networking event, you can easily say X, Y, and Z of what it is you do. You have to also keep in mind that there's going to be someone that's in your same lane or in your same field that may be doing the same thing that you're doing. What is going to what is going to make you stand out? That's the real question. And that's what your pitch is going to help craft for you, to kind of lay that out. So the action of it, so this is the exercise I want you to do. And this is something that we do in our workshop, which is known as Becoming Your Brand in the University, where we do an exercise like this, but it's extended out into 6 hours. And so we have different exercises that we do with our students to helping them figure out these questions and helping them figure out, craft their pitch. So by the end of the course, they have an actual pitch that they can take, and they can have confidence in it, as well as it's going to help them build their understanding of how to execute that. So number one, what I want you to ask yourself is, give me, and give yourself while you're writing it down, 3 words to describe and define you as a professional. So you can be a professional as in a student. What defines you in terms of, give me some adjectives, and kind of use the source as your best friend in terms of defining who you are. These things may be things that you want to work on. These may be things that you want to eventually develop, as you get older in your career. But write down 3 things that will fully help you understand and define your actual yourself. And this is something where I struggled with when I started, because I didn't know. So I was just going off on a whim, and I thought I knew everything in terms of like, oh, I want to be the best publicist in the world. I want to get all these clients. I want to do X, Y, and Z. But then in the end, if I don't know who I am as a professional and what's going to set me apart from anyone else, then I'm just like everyone else. So that's really going to set and mold you to kind of being that different source, if that makes sense. So jot down 3 words that would describe you, and it can even be sentences. And don't knock yourself down if you can't easily think of it right then and there. That's a part of the growth. That's a part of the process. So take all that in, as it's going to help you develop and help you understand yourself even more, and trust the process. It's something that is not going to happen overnight. You may not be able to write those things down, but it's a process that I really want, and I really challenge you to dedicate yourself to actually learning and understanding. The next thing is, what voids are you filling in your community, or what issues do you want to solve, or have you solved? So, with that being said, so for me, I'm in a lane where it's public relations. It's, white and black. Give people TV, news, radio, media, X, Y, and Z, exposure, publicity. That's my thing. What I wanted to do, I found out that there was a void in my community to where a lot of business owners or a lot of professionals, they don't know who they are. So how can I pitch you and tell your story to a whole, on a whole level if you don't even know who you are? So that's where I said this is a void that I'm going to aid, and I'm going to try to fill in my community, and that's an issue. Another issue, for example, Melissa Butler of the Lip Bar, an issue that she saw in her area in terms of the beauty standard is darker colors or brighter colors are not made for women of color or darker skinned young women. And she wanted to challenge that. So that's why she created the Lip Bar. She wanted to push that standard. She wanted to challenge that beauty standard. And now she's at a almost $1 million company because that's a void that she wanted to fill within her community. So think of those things in terms of what do you want to bring to the table in terms of what is an issue that you want to solve. So these are things that you have to put in a business plan in terms of what is the issue, how can you solve it, how are you going to solve it. So that's number 2. And number 3, and this is the part where I change this every year or every other month, and it's perfectly fine because you grow with your businesses. It's perfectly fine that you do that. So number 3, who are you talking to? Who are you serving? So this is really, really having an understanding and defining your target. And what that means is not just saying, okay, well, I know my target is 18 to 25 women who are working, who may have a 9-to-5, or who may own businesses, or who may have kids. No, it's you really fully understanding your target, meaning you can tell me right now at 7:19 p.m. Eastern Standard Time what they're doing. So I can tell you like the back of my hand who my ideal client is or who my actual target is. And I know what they're doing right now, 7:20. They're either on social media right now, kind of recapping how the day went for everyone else. They're probably either preparing to get something to eat, or they may be at a happy hour, because a lot of my ideal clients are business owners, and so they probably just got home. They're still looking at their laptop, checking through their emails, things of that nature. They probably don't watch the news per se that much, but I can tell you my client like the back of my hand. So I know their needs, I know their wants, I know their wins, I know their struggles, I know what they're looking for to help them succeed as a professional. So I know if I'm crafting a pitch, or if I'm sending certain pitches to certain publications, I'm going to send it to certain publications that I know that they're reading, or I know that they're paying attention to. It goes hand in hand with if you're giving a product, if you're presenting a product to the market. If you're presenting a product that's made for moms, typically moms watch the news when they get home, or if they can't because they don't have time to watch the news, typically when they get home, they may watch the news in which different channels, X, Y, and Z. So you need to know that. If you don't know that, you need to figure it out. Meaning you need to know your client, you need to ask them certain questions, you need to kind of figure it out so you won't be left in the dark. Because if you're just working and doing things that you don't even know who you're doing it for, then you're just going and you're just spending money and you're investing in something that is just like, this does not even make sense. And like we said before, time is money. So we want to play smarter and not so much harder in that sense. So having a full understanding of who your target is very, very crucial and very an intricate part to actually understanding and being able to properly pitch. It will also go hand in hand to when you're reaching out to different publications or writers or journalists or editors, because like I said before, you're not going to pitch lipstick to ESPN. They don't care about that. That writer does not care about that unless it has a sports component to it. That will make sense, but if not, don't waste nobody's time. It's just an email that's going to go to the next. And don't be alarmed if when you're sending a pitch that you don't get a response. If they are interested, they will reach out. Do not make the email a flag in terms of saying it's an urgent email, because it's really not. Don't think that. If they're interested, they will reach out. If not, you just move on to the next. Don't beat yourself up. Don't try to call them out. Don't do any of that. That's how the game goes. If they're interested, they'll reach out. But the craft of that is building connections and really, really, it's like you're flirting with them, but you're flirting with them in a professional flirting, if that makes sense. I don't know if it does, but you want to send them something that's going to be worth their while and it's going to interest them. So if you sent me something about Cardi B and I was a writer, I'm like, okay, I'm interested in this because she has a story and I know it's going to be interesting and I know I want to read more about her, understand more about her. So that's just my example. I don't write for a reason. That's why I don't write. So those are 3 exercises that I want you to do to kind of fully understanding and kind of building the bones and laying out that skeleton to helping you craft your actual pitch. So what a lot of people may do is hire someone who's a copywriter. So a pitch is something that you can use on a universal level. You can use it anytime. It's not something that's like it's a one or done. You can change up your pitch. You can change it up. You have a title in terms of like introducing yourself. So like my title of my pitch would be Millennial, Publicist, and Detroit native or Detroit-based publicist, X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. So my header is something that's going to automatically catch your attention because it's like the Millennials Publicist. This sounds interesting. Let me read a little bit more about you to figure out why do they call you that. I know what my niche is in terms of my becoming your brand university. It's never been done. It's something that's a little bit interesting in terms of like, let me figure this out. So I know that's something of me introducing it because it's a void that I'm filling in my community. And I would only pitch myself to writers who have a strong expertise and interest in entrepreneurship, business ownership, female empowerment, professional development, growth, things of that nature. I know what my niche is. I know who I need to pitch to. If I pitch myself to Essence, they're going to be like, okay, that's cute, but do you sell lipstick? Do you have a knowledge of beauty? X, Y, and Z. That's how it is. Another thing with that, social media is your friend. So you have your pitch crafted. So sometimes some of us may not be the best writers. That's perfectly fine. You can actually hire someone who does copyright, or you can hire a publicist to develop content for you. So about 70% of what I do is content, meaning I'm typing up things. I'm a content personnel, but I like to do creative content, meaning pitches. So a pitch is a bio in a way, but it's a creatively written bio. So it's not, you were born in this year, you were born at this hospital, you have this many siblings. Don't put that in a pitch. Please don't put that in a pitch. They don't care about all of that unless it goes hand in hand with your story. But if it does not, get straight to the point. What are you bringing to the table? So you can actually invest in someone to do your copyright of that. And what that means is you have ownership in that content that has been crafted, meaning no one can take that pitch and say that that is their own pitch because that is your own content. Along with that, maybe a publicist could also help you craft that as well. It's a double-sided sword. They can do each because a lot of publicists do copyright at the same time. So what a publicist can do if you don't have the time, and it's perfectly fine if you don't, a publicist is what you're investing into actually finding out those journalists and finding out those writers to send your actual pitch to. You can pay them a retainer to say, I'm releasing a product on this day in this month. I need you to pitch what I'm sending to them. They take care of all of that. But if you are investing in a publicist or someone to craft that pitch, you need to have access to that pitch because that is what you pay for. If not, you need to put an agreement in that to saying that you get ownership in that pitch, because like I said before, you can use this pitch universal. So keep that in mind. Do not hire someone that says, oh, everything I write for you in terms of a pitch, it's mine. Like, no, you pay for it. It's yours because you're paying them a retainer, and that is yours. You can use that as it goes. The difference between that, you're paying a publicist to do the research. You're paying a publicist to figure out who they need to send it to. Keep in mind, if you are paying someone to pitch you, they cannot guarantee, yes, I'm going to get you on CNN. I'm going to get you on VH1. You're going to be on Love and Hip Hop. No, don't go into that if you do hire someone to confirm that for you. Don't do that. But in the flip side, you can actually pitch yourself. So with pitching yourself, that's where social media becomes like your best friend. So I find out a lot about different writers and different journalists of who I can build a connection with in terms of pitching by just social media. Everybody has it. So I'll see what things they write about, what they're interested in, things of that nature, and they're human. Do not think that these people are not human, that they're like aliens. Like, they are like you and me. Like, they love to write. That's what they do. So just keep that in mind. Don't come off as awkward. Like, just keep it real cool when you're reaching out to them, if so. And if they have an email, they may have their email in their bio, X, Y, and Z. If not, if you want to get their email, you can just reach out to them. Hey, is it fine if I get your email address? The worst they can say is no, or the worst they can do is just not reply. It's life. Move on to the next. It's just keep it moving. So with that, making connections and just keeping it simple in terms of, this is what I do, X, Y, and Z, and just introducing yourself. They're human. You're human. Don't make it awkward. You can do your pitch right then and there if they're interested. And say, hey, I write for such and such. Oh, really? You do? Never knew. They may ask you, can I write an article about you? So there it is. Don't make it awkward, guys. And have that confidence in knowing who you are. So when you pitch to them, you can knock it out the park. So with that, please understand and know your niche. It's something that goes hand in hand with developing your pitch. It's something that a publicist can definitely help you with. And if not a publicist, then you can do your own research. You can find it out because you're doing something, you're bringing something to the table, figure it out. It goes the same way in terms of if you're applying for internships. If you are a student, it's the same thing. What are you bringing to the table? What makes you different from any other student that may be wanting to get the same internship? Show out. Bring it all to the table. Don't be alarmed. Don't be reserved. But don't be awkward and over the top. But just, present yourself in a manner to where no one else can get this position or internship. Or, you're the best in the game. That's what you're telling and talking about in your pitch. So be about that for sure. Another thing is just understanding and knowing your why. And this is basically going back to laying that foundation to having an understanding of why are you doing what you're doing. And I know in entrepreneurship or business ownership, it's going to be days when it's like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm stressed out. I want to go to sleep. It's too much. That's fine that you have those moments, but just always in the back of your mind, take time to step back and ask those questions to yourself of what got me here? What got me started? What is that foundation? What is my why? When you fully have to remind yourself sometimes of what your why is, that's going to pull back another layer to laying out your foundation of you actually understanding and aiding in you becoming your brand. And It's fine to get frustrated. It's fine to not know these questions or know these things right now in a second. It's perfectly fine with that. But just be honest with yourself and be truthful with yourself. No, I'm not the one to tell you that entrepreneurship is for everyone. No, I'm not the one to tell you to quit your 9-to-5 job. I'm not going to say that. What I am going to say is I have a passion of helping people understand how amazing they are and helping people find out those truths about themselves and help them figure out their why and help them become their brands on a day-by-day basis. So those are the 3 things. And what I am going to be offering to one of our viewers is a free PR coaching session that I'm going to be offering for Royalty Magazine viewers today, in terms of I want to help you actually pulling back layers and actually figuring out kind of a surface to that. So I'm going to be adopting someone tonight, and we'll kind of go into that a little bit deeper in the end in terms of how can I help you in terms of figuring out your niche, your brand, and things of that nature. So in a sense of the adopting part, we're going to go into the Adopt a Business Challenge, which I see some of our viewers are actually a part of and have been adopted. And so what the Adopt a Business Challenge is something that I founded through having a conversation with a friend. And we were just sitting around and we was like, why don't we celebrate our passions and goals and dreams like we celebrate birthdays? So if you own a business, you know the fees, investments, things of that nature. It's expensive. It's not something that's like $50 and it's a one and done. So I say, I think I want to recraft and recreate the new kind of like 2017 barter system. So, the typical barter system is I give you something for free and you give me something for free in return. So the basis to how I started in terms of my agency and my work, I did a lot of volunteer work to get my hands just in the game, and I wanted to figure out as much as I could in terms of public relations. So I volunteered. I did not care if I was getting paid. I didn't care if I had to, come out of gas. I didn't care. I wanted to help, and I wanted to just learn as much as I could. So with that, it transitioned and grew for me in terms of having a strong passion for community work. I'm very heavily involved in my community in terms of offer my services to nonprofit organizations, as well as just volunteering just on a whim whenever I have the time to do so. So in my mind, you always have to give back. The more you get, you always have to give back. And this is something that I'm a firm believer on. No matter how much money you make, you always have to give back. And with that, I want to see everyone win as much as everyone else does. We can make a status about how we want to see everybody win, but there's action behind it as well. So the Adopt a Business Challenge is basically that. So you drop down your business needs. We do it every Wednesday, and we have an actual group, # Adopt a Business Challenge, and you can find it on Facebook, and you become a member, and you just tell us, what are your business needs? What do you need? It can be as simple as, I need someone to help me design a logo, or I need a media kit, or I need financial help in terms of financial coaching. Simple little things. And just say what you need. And you can also say, I can also give X, Y, and Z in terms of if you have a business. We have people who are giving free swimming lessons for people's kids. We have individuals. I have a young lady who is a graphic designer. Her computer broke and she needed a new computer. So we actually had someone who adopted her and got her a computer so she can get back on her feet and continue doing her graphic design. It's as simple as that. Those individuals are not looking for anything in return. You're just helping someone get on their feet to help fuel their passions and dreams. It's as simple as that. It's no strings attached. So you don't go into this thinking like, okay, I adopted somebody, so somebody has to adopt me now. No, it's just the power of giving. And giving without a string attached is the kind of position that I want to turn everyone into, so you can just understand and know, like, you always don't have to get something in return, because it's always going to come back greater 10 times and tenfold. So with the Adopt a Business Challenge, we do it every Wednesday in our Facebook group. There are 3 questions that you have to answer before you get approval. If you do not answer the questions, there is no approval, because I want everyone to fully understand the guidelines to this. If you do give something, you have to give it at 100% free. Not 50% off, not 15% off, not a discount. It has to be 100% free. We tell certain people, be mindful of things that you say that you can give. Do not overwhelm yourself. Do not take on too many individuals to adopt that you know your client roster or you cannot handle, because these people are depending on you. So just be mindful. If you cannot give a full website and design it, do not give that. You can maybe give, like, oh, I can do a graphic, a social media graphic for you, something of that nature. Just be mindful of what you are saying that you can give, and then that's pretty much it. And you can also drop down your business needs and things that you're looking for, things that you need. Sorry, I have to charge my phone. Things that you need, and you just basically go with that, is how it goes. And so we have about 500 plus members in our group chat, in our group right now, to where it's Wednesday. So it is Adopt a Business Wednesday. So we have had people in there. We start about 8-9 o'clock in the morning. Everybody kind of knows the procedure now. They're just dropping their needs in there, and we're going like that. So if you have any direct questions in terms of how it works, or how you can be a part of it, or how you can be involved, or if you just want to give, but you want to give anonymously, because we have individuals who gave money in terms of, hey, I can adopt 5 people at $100 each. So we have individuals who are helping people get their LLCs, get their website domains, X, Y, and Z. But be mindful, if one person gives you one thing and you know they do graphic design or X, Y, and Z, just be mindful of, if you do ask for something else, they can send you an invoice if they've already did something for free. So just be mindful of that, please. But it's just as simple as that. So kind of going back to the pitching process, this is basically a form of you saying, these are my needs, this is what I can bring to the table, and this is how I can help you. So it's a pitching in a sense of you're selling yourself, and you're telling people what it is that you do and how you can help them as well. So that's basically it in terms of the Adopt a Business Challenge. I have different plans in terms of my end goals of, I want to develop and get more angel investors to give larger donations, so I can actually divvy them out to different individuals who, someone will be like a scholarship recipient, but I don't want to make you pitch yourself. I just want to be the person who's giving it out, X, Y, and Z. So it's as simple as that. Now, going back to the pitching process and how to pitch yourself in that realm, once you get whatever email address to whomever you want to pitch your story to, you send them a simple email. I would recommend keeping the content of the actual pitch in the actual body of the email versus an attachment, because you want to, right when they open the email, you want them to be able to read all the information right there instead of having to click through so many other things. So those would be the tips that I'll give in terms of that. But you can send it out, pray to whomever you pray to, and hopefully they reach back out to you. Now keep in mind, when they do reach out to you, because they will, when they do reach out to you, you want to be ready. You want to have images. You want to have your PR toolkit together. So that means if they say, yes, we want to do an interview, keep in mind, some may want to do a phone interview. Some may want to do a question interview where they send you a certain amount of questions. You answer them. Answer the questions as full and in detail as you can to give that writer a lot to work with, as well as an image. Always have high resolution images, meaning these are images that a professional photographer took on with a camera. They did some editing with it, not a iPhone or a phone. No, invest in images, please, to kind of go with your story. Because, I mean, if you're doing a pitch or if you're, getting a placement, you want to have, images. once you get that person to say, yep, I want to do a story on you, what that is an actual placement that you secured for yourself or that your publicist has secured for you. So that's a good thing. And I'm going to speak those PR blessings to you, because you're going to get placements. You're going to get whatever it needs to take to actually salute to that. So you'll send it off. Be ready once they respond. And it's really important that you know yourself, and that's why I really, really stress that in terms of understanding and having a knowledge of you becoming your brand, so you are ready, equipped to being able to answer those questions. Because some of those questions, it's not just, what's your product? Tell us about your product. Is tell us your why. And if you don't know, you can't delay getting that story back to that writer, because they're on a deadline that they have to meet. So that's why you should do that homework before you craft a pitch and before you start pitching yourself. That's why it's so important. So that's everything in terms of how to pitch yourself to different media outlets. And what I like to give a challenge to my clients is basically think of 10 different publications, meaning blogs, TV, news, X, Y, and Z, where you want to go to actually showcase what it is that you do and tell your story, and make a note of how it makes sense. Write those down and get started on kind of working on their contact list and media list and things of that nature, so you can actually begin crafting your actual list to reach out to them, so you already know before even having to do that work. So what I'll ask is, the way I'll give my coaching, free coaching, is send me over an actual pitch of yourself and telling me more so about you. So my actual Facebook name is Brittni Brown, and just send me over an inbox and just tell me who you are, introduce yourself to me, give me your pitch, and with that I'll decide in terms of who will actually be getting that free PR coaching, and we'll go from there in terms of helping you craft your pitch and helping you actually become your brand, as well as I hope to see each and every one of you on our Adopt a Business Challenge for next week, Wednesday. We have over 500 members, so that means over 500 people, and it's not just in the state of Michigan, but all over, who are dropping their business needs, as well as putting up bids to taking on people to adopt. So let us know your business needs. Put that pride aside, because we are not millionaires. We all have needs. We all need help. It can even be, I just need someone to buy me a cup of coffee to get me through this workday. That's perfectly fine. Put your pride aside. Let's help each other as a community. Let's build each other up. Let's all get in this game to build millionaires. So if you have any direct questions for me, feel free to reach out to me via Facebook, as well as you can email me at pr@thebeeagency.com, and I'll spell that out, PR@THEBEEAGENCY.com. And I most definitely look forward to speaking, as well as working with some of you amazing individuals. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck, and have a happy Wednesday.